live now. All right. So, welcome to, I think this is week 3. Is this week 3? I think it's week 3. Week 3 of our continuing reading of my dad's book, Laugh to Live. We are on chapter number 6, and it is called Leaving the Nest. So let's just double check real quick. We just want to see how Dylan's audio sounds. You can't hear you?
At all,
no. You got to talk like into the mic.
Talk. Hold on, I'm trying to hear it in the stream.
How much is the lag?
That's weird. And it's pretty delayed too.
Try again.
Talk. Testing. It's hard to explain what it sounds like, but it's, I don't know.
What?
It's not really working.
Because I can hear you on here. It says you've got...
I'm not sure what's going on, but look.
I mean, I just heard you talk on there.
Volume all the way up.
Yeah, I just heard you say it's not working.
See how clearly you can hear you though?
Yeah.
You can't hear me basically at all.
Say like a full sentence and like clearly say it.
Hello guys, today we are going to try weird.
Okay, let's try that.
Testing. Oh, that's a lot better.
Okay. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and start reading chapter number 6. Let's
Chapter
go ahead and
4.
check. What?
4, not 6.
No, we're at 6. That's where I had the bookmark.
page. Chapter 4.
Maybe we're on chapter 4. Hang on, bear with us. That's why this channel's called We Are Going to Try. Welcome. Because we're doing things for the first time that we're not used to doing.
And we're trying it.
We're just trying. Alright, so we are on chapter number 4. Ignore the beginning part of the stream. We are not on chapter 6 yet. So, chapter 4 is called Life Ain't Always Easy. And as usual, he likes to put a quote at the beginning. I wonder if that's a recurring theme. Yep. He likes to put a quote or two at the beginning of the chapter. He put 2 this time. Both of these are from unknown authors, though. The first one is You Can't Unscramble an Egg. Once again, it's from an unknown author, unknown source. Second one is The problem with staying calm in a crisis is that people will think that you don't understand the problem. Once again, that's an unknown source. I wonder if that would be an easy thing to check on, like ChatGPT or ChatGPT. You just like type in the quote and like, who said this?
Yeah.
Maybe not like right now. We don't have to do it right now, but or
It could work.
anybody in the audience that's watching, go ahead. So the first one again was You Can't Unscramble an Egg. Second one was The problem with staying calm in a crisis is that people will think you don't understand the problem. And going into the meat of the chapter, let's see, how many pages is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Okay, so I'll read the first 2, and then you take over, so that way it's an even number, because the first one is less than half. So, all right, I am going to digress a bit now to deal with the accusation I often get after discussing my attitude for success premise. It's easy for you, so you must have an easy life. One of my seminar participants once said. Once again, he said, it's easy for you, so you must have an easy life. So, I would like to put that to bed right now, right here. While I'm sure that my life has been easier than some, I will match my stress opportunities with most. As a 20-year naval officer, I saw combat in Vietnam and numerous operations from my loved ones. Numerous separations from my loved ones. I spent 18 years as a manager in the defense industry, where long-range planning is about 1 year. The life of the current defense appropriation. I am a speaker and a volunteer teacher. As a father and husband, I have helped my wife merge a family of hers, mine, and ours, 5 total, and now grandfather to 5 kids and a dog and a cat, and another dog, Crypto. And yes, that part wasn't in the book, but he wrote this before I got Crypto. So, and yes, our kids too moved out and back in cyclically. Moved out and back in cyclically. I've survived a disastrous attempt as an entrepreneur and subsequent bankruptcy. My wife and I both lost our parents, 3 of 4 early in their 50s. At age 14, I lost a brother to leukemia. I've been diagnosed and treated for 2 cancers, 1 ongoing. The point here is that we all deal with life's issues. We do not always choose the obstacles, but we do choose our attitude in dealing with them. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up watching my dad work 2 jobs to make ends meet. However, neither he nor my mom missed any opportunity to support my brother and me, not necessarily monetarily, but motivationally. One of them always drove to those Little League games, and one or both was always in the stands for our high school athletic events, plays, award ceremonies, etc. Because my brother was older and very talented, I grew up in his shadow. It was not until the 8th grade, when I was introduced to stage and theater, that I began to break out. I was the class clown throughout high school. My selection as wittiest in our senior superlative voting made my parents very proud, as you might imagine. I was fortunate to be a natural student, thereby assuring me of the grades required to meet the requirements of the Naval Academy. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and let Dakin.
Dakin?
Dakin?
Dakin.
Dakin? Dylan?
Yep, Dakin.
Dakin, your new name is
My
Dakin.
new name is Dakin.
From now on, you shall be called Dakin.
Yes, I am Dakin. Alright. That mix of honor society, academics, and class clown antics made for an interesting I don't know how to pronounce that. Dichotomy?
Yeah, dichotomy.
Okay. Dichotomy as a midshipman, as the battle for dominant personality raged. While I did manage good grades, I am more famous for my escapades into skateboarding, exploiting toilet paper rolls, hot air balloons, and even parachuting hamsters. I did manage to harness some of my antics for legitimate purposes as president of the Brigade Activities Committee, in charge of pep rallies and football game skits. It was during my 4 Naval Academy years that I began to realize the value of humor as a survival technique in stressful situations. Of the 1,250 plebes who entered the academy with my class, only about 800 of us made it to graduation. While there were certainly a myriad of reasons for leaving, many simply could not deal with the pressure. Our sometimes borderline but never malicious adventures went a long way towards relieving our stress. A lot of the lessons and examples I know used in my seminar were only recognized for their cause and effect in hindsight. In most cases, we didn't set out with any of them purposely to relieve stress, which was just the beneficial side effect. While I can cite endless examples of stress relief through humor throughout my 22-year Navy career, the most obvious lesson of life balanced with humor came from my 1-year tour in Vietnam in 1970. For me, there was never a more consistently stressful situation. While I can't possibly recreate for you...
One page.
You said 2.
No, I said I'm going to read the first 2 pages.
Oh,
the first
okay.
page was only like a half page, and then we're each just going to go a page at a time.
Oh.
That's what I said. We can rewind it later.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
That's what I said. That's what I said, right, guys? Everybody, all the hundreds of people that are in here right now, put ones in the chat.
Ones in the chat? Hundreds of people. There's not one person watching.
There's hundreds of people in here right now.
We have 0 viewers.
While I can't possibly recreate for you here the situation in Vietnam in 1970, suffice it to say that President Nixon's announced peace with honor tactic, supported by the Vietnamization of the armed conflict, was not going well. Meanwhile, I had completed a tour of duty on a destroyer out of Japan, where I saw the war in Vietnam from a distant vantage point in the Gulf of Tonkin, and then a subsequent research and development assignment in Maryland. Having accepted my free college education at the academy, I faced a moral dilemma, i.e., in return, shouldn't I volunteer to serve in the only combat situation for the U.S. at the time? Deciding in the affirmative, I was quickly sent to the Navy's Inshore Operations Training Center in Vallejo, California, where I was given a crash course in brown water Navy river assault craft warfare tactics. Also included was an interesting week at the Navy Weapons Center in Hawthorne, Nevada, where I learned to shoot a 38 caliber pistol, a 45 caliber pistol, an M16, an M79 grenade launcher, a 50 caliber machine gun, and a 20mm cannon. Finally, there was a week of survival training, teaching us escape and evasion techniques, and food foraging in a tropical jungle environment. Unfortunately, this training took place in a pine grove in Whidbey Island, Washington, in February.
Alright. And then it was off on a 22-hour flight to Vietnam, followed by a 50-mile jeep ride through the Vietnam countryside, to a small base on the Vam Co Dong River across from the village of Go Da Ha, 10 miles from the Cambodian border. Sound familiar? Remember the opening paragraph of this book? This I inherited 14 Navy enlisted men, gunners, mates, electricians, and machinists, and one salty chief boatswain mate. It was our job to mold 250 impressed, not as in favorable opinion, but as in forced military service, Vietnamese rice farmers into a self-sustained fighting force. Suffice it to say that wasn't going to happen, a statement supported by subsequent history. However, we were obviously not aware of our imminent failure and set about in earnest to make it happen. Note, I have had the rough outline of my entire naval advisory, experienced in Vietnam, ready for a book for over 30 years, and it will be my next venture. The title of that work will be Take My Advice. So my purpose here is only to use that austere environment for some example of what my small band of brothers did for stress relief. If you picture the movie and subsequent TV show, MASH, that was us, minus the medicine.
Interesting. Please keep in mind that, true to my earlier established guidelines, we took our mission very seriously, for it was truly life and death. We did, however, also in line with those guidelines, play hard. Since the statute of limitations has long since expired and all evidence was lost in the fall of Vietnam, I will relate the following tales. Oh Lord, here we go. We stole a 2.5-ton truck from the huge USA Army artillery base in Chu Chi, about 20 miles, I wonder if that's actually how you pronounce it, Coochie. Oh God. That's not funny. We are mature here. We stole a 2.5-ton truck from the huge U.S. Army artillery base at, all right, it's capital C-U space capital C-H-I. Coochie? To me, that's Coo-Chi, right?
Yeah.
All right, about 20 miles from our base. After painting it gray and falsifying Navy markings, we used it to steal whatever else we needed to ease our harsh existence. We stole a load of plywood and converted a tin roof shack in our base into a club with a bar, which would make a New Yorker proud. I had to attend an advisory commanders conference in Saigon once a month, so I would take one or two of my men. Besides their instructions to unwind a bit, they were also to steal something, preferably from an Army or Air Force club, for our club. Bar stools, brass ornaments, which I'm pretty sure that's some of the stuff that's in the garage. Brass ornaments, pictures, glasses, etc. Gradually, our little American sanctuary became the center of my men's downtime relief. Remember the ski boat? We properly used it for river patrol, ambush insertion, and junk search, most of the time. However, it seemed such a shame for it to not see some of us as its design was intended, so I had obtained some ski equipment through barter with special services in Saigon, and the rest is history.
Oh, and we never encountered a need to use covering fire from the 50 caliber. I can't speak. While there are literally thousands of such stories from all branches of the service, perhaps the most memorable lessons can be drawn from the prisoners of war, American POWs. If you have ever heard or read any of them relate the horrific tales of their ordeal in captivity, you will notice a common theme. Even from those brave souls who endured years in solitary confinement, you will find two common threads to their survival: their faith and their sense of humor. As an example, in my seminar, I relate the story told by one POW enduring endless solitary confinement of his being led to relieve himself in the dirty corner of a concrete room with a hole in the floor. There, in the most austere situation imaginable, he saw the following words scratched into the concrete wall: "O little weevil in my bread, I have just bit off thy head." Those simple words spoke volumes, they screamed. I'm an American, I'm alive, and they cannot break my spirit or take my sense of humor. So no matter how grave your situation, your life savings equipment should include a sense of humor. That sense of humor must be recognized and nurtured into a powerful addition to your life skill set. Like every other skill, it must be practiced.
I'm gonna reiterate the lines that he said, or the line that he said that was etched in the concrete wall. So once again, it says, "O little weevil in my bread, I have just bit off thy head." Interesting. All right, so that concludes week number, I guess week number 4. I said week number 3 earlier, but that concludes week number 4. That makes, I think we read 2 chapters on.
We did, because one was so short.
So this was week 4, or this was week 3. So we're moving on to week 4 next week. And we're moving on to chapter 5, which is called Growth Through Failure. So, once again, this is from my dad's book, Laugh to Live, an Attitude Primer. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section if you would like a copy, and we'll figure out how to send one to you. Other than that, Dylan, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another week of Laugh to Live. And we'll try to be back again next Monday. We had a busy weekend, so that's why we're doing it on Tuesday this week. But we will be back next Monday.